Greetings one and all, and welcome to Beyblade Central. So glad to see you here. For today's show, we'll be reviewing the entirety of the CX line, or at least the debut releases. While I typically wait for a few weeks before getting the newest Bay, I actually pre-ordered all of these, including the launch group shortly after the pre-orders went up, but due to personal life reasons and totally nothing to do with my bad habits, I wasn't able to make a video until now. Better late than never, I guess. Anyway, since this is the debut of a brand new line in X, let's take a moment to appreciate the packaging. My goodness, these boxes are so clean. From the different lines, this has to be by far my favorite packaging. While the base having the trail is nothing new, the BX line has these weird green smears on the background, making it feel cluttered, while the UX has the trail very bright, unlike CX, which has theirs very subtle. A detail I'm pretty sure many missed, but very much appreciated. Not to mention, I love this sharp design on top, since it not only distinguishes from the other two lines, but also makes the whole thing feel more sharp, if that makes any sense. The layer also having its different pieces displayed on the side is also a very nice touch. The only thing that is a bit confusing about this packaging is why the highlight is pink. Typically the box highlight matches the colors of its line type, which in this case is red, but in the box they chose pink for some reason. Even though this is a bit confusing, I kinda like it. It's not often we see pink in Beyblade, whether it be on an actual Bay or on packaging. So this was a nice addition. As for the back of the box, well, it's pretty standard stuff, with the addition of having the layer have a separate section for all its different parts. But enough about the box, let's move on to the first Bay, which is Wizard Arc. I gotta say, this is a very odd divergence for the Wizard line. While the Wizard Bays are typically a yellow or gold color through the entire Bay, this time they went with a light lime color, which kinda looks ugly, especially for the Ratchet. That thing looks radioactive. Speaking of which, I'm actually very disappointed with this Ratchet. Seeing how the 455 Ratchet is the lowest Ratchet we've gotten so far, I was really looking forward to it, seeing how good it is for attack or defense type build, but unfortunately it's really bad. Not only is it very lightweight, which makes sense and it's all one piece, but it's by far the worst burst resistance I've seen in any Ratchet. I don't know if it's just my copy or if that's just how 455 is, but even when you put it on a high burst resistant bit, it's so easy to twist off. Not to mention the points are very big, meaning that if you scrape the stadium, that's it. You're dead. You have no stadium. You either die by bursting or die by a sleep out. Yeah, not a very good start for the stamina debut of the CX, but unfortunately I can't say it gets much better after this. The low orb bit is yet another part I was really looking forward to, but very disappointed with. Typically with height variants or variants in general, the design is altered slightly, often improving in its performance, but with low orb, it's quite literally just a slightly shorter orb, which I guess means you could run 2 orbs in a deck, but then again, why would you want to do that? And again, this lime yellow is just ugly. Thankfully for us, this is where all the bad news ends. Kinda. CX whole gimmick is dividing the blade into 3 different parts: the lock chip, main blade, and assist blade, with the assist blade being kind of the whole reason CX was made in the first place. In this case, the assist blade is round, for obvious reasons, and while I definitely think it's a good part, I really hate the fact that it has so many gaps since it kills any weight it might have had. And despite both assist blades and main blades having a similar shape, they don't actually line up. TT, you had one job! Luckily though, the main blade is easily one of my favorite designs in all of X so far. Its rounded shape is great for stamina and defense builds, and the lighting effect gives the blade some much needed detail. I also like how even though it seems like only the outer edge of the blade is made out of metal, there's actually a lot more metal than I thought. Honestly, I really like the design and makes me question why again they chose this limest yellow color rather than the normal yellow color. Similarly to that, the lock chip design is also very good, and by far my favorite Wizard lock chip design. Wizard just going full on Dragon Ball Z is funny to see, and definitely more menacing than it just covering its mouth or having its hand out waiting for a high fight. To assemble the blade, you first put the main blade on top of the assist blade, then insert the lock chip and twist it using either your hand or a bit. Either way, it works fine, and it's up to you which way you want to go. As for the rest of the blade, it's pretty standard stuff. Once fully assembled, it doesn't look too bad, minus a bad color scheme. Even though it has a low bit and the lowest ratchet, it's actually still around the same height as your average Bay, since the blades themselves are pretty tall now. which is a bit disappointing, but then again, there's not much we can do since the assist blade is kind of the whole reason CX exists in the first place. Overall, not a bad release, not a good one either, and in a stock build, I'd say it's probably the best performing one out of the 3 so far, which we'll get to in a moment. Oh, and by the way, since this is a starter, it also came with a ripcord launcher, but honestly, there isn't anything special with this one, and it also comes with Dran Brave. So, to the pile of launcher it goes. Up next, we have the booster debut bay, a very special and unexpected release, Perseus Dark. When the leaks about the CX listings came out, it listed both Dran Brave and Wizard Arc as evils of the previous variant, but listed Perseus as a Knight Lance evil. And if you know anything about me, you know how much I love Knight Lance. So you can imagine my excitement and later on, disappointment when we didn't get a Knight Lance variant, but instead got Perseus. Even though this wasn't a CX Knight, Perseus Dark is by no means a bay to be slept on. In fact, I'd argue it's probably one of the most sought after releases, seeing how this, like Aerial Pegasus, is a reimagining of a bay from the MFB era, Gravity Perseus, one of the few MFB bays I actually own. Visually speaking, it looks perfect. The lock chip has that menacing Dark Knight stare similar to the original Perseus, and those violet highlights are subtle enough to not steal attention from the lock chip, but also not so subtle where you can't even notice they're there. And just like the other two, there's a lot more metal than you might expect. Not to mention, the bumper assist blade is rounded off, making it great for stamina and defense side build, but it also covers up a lot of the gaps that the CX blades have, which depending on the main blade can actually make it really good. One thing I am confused about is why they chose to make the Dark blade so triangular. Typically, for defense types you want a rounded off shape, but with Dark it seems pretty jagged. That doesn't mean it won't be good for defense. It just means you're going to want to use a counter defense build with this or use it for a balance type build. Thankfully, that's my only real criticism about the blade, which isn't even a bad thing, so it's just a very confusing thing that they decided to do. As for the parts, 680 has become easily one of my favorite ratchets since it's essentially a fusing of 5 and 7 without power creeping them in such a major way. And the ring of the ratchet is a nice shade of violet and is in fact a similar shade to the custom 560 ratchet I made for my Knight Lance. So it's safe to say that I'll be using this whenever CX Knight Lance comes out. Honestly, I'm kind of impressed with this release, a reimagining of a fan favorite MFB blade, and includes a great assist blade for stamina and defense build, and a ratchet with a surprisingly good burst resistance. What a perfect release! Well, near perfect. Yeah, if it wasn't for the fact that this bit is so freaking garbage, Perseus would have been perfect. Honestly, I don't understand what TT was thinking when designing Wedge. It's so small, it's almost the same size as Spike, which, you know, is the worst bit in all of X, and to make matters worse, it's decently tall, making it taller than the average bit. And when you put that on a 80 height ratchet and on the tallest system to date, yeah, it's not gonna be a good build. That it only has 10 teeth like Rush, which you may think is a good thing, but the reason why it was so good for Rush is because with Rush, you want to do multiple extreme dashes, but with defense type, you rarely do extreme dashes, so what's the point in this? Is it really so hard for TT to give us a wide sharp bit? Like, come on man. Yeah, besides a major letdown, the rest of the bay is actually pretty good, and definitely worth picking up. Next up is Dran Brave, and oh boy do I have a love-hate relationship with this bay. On one hand, this is easily my second favorite in the entire Dran line, only being bested by Dran Dagger. I mean, what's not to love about this bay? The lock chip is heavily inspired by the original Dran Sword, which makes it feel like a proper evolution to Dran Sword, even though it's just a variant of it. The different shades of blue with the white highlights makes the design very fluid. Its name also has likely references to Valkyrie, with the main blade being Brave, similar to Brave Valkyrie, and the assist blade being Slash, similar to Slash Valkyrie. Speaking of, the assist blade itself doesn't have a bad design at all, and yeah, it is a bit simple, but it works perfectly for Dran Brave. The 660 ratchet is again a fantastic part, and the color choice, while new for the Dran line, works really well, and the bit Vortex is essentially just a reverse cyclone now. And while it may not be a very competitive part, it's still a very fun bit to use. But then why do I have a love-hate relationship with this bay? Well, it's because of this. These stupid little nubs. They decided to include kills any potential attack power it had. These nubs cover up the start of the actual blade, meaning it doesn't have the same smash attack power that the previous Drans have. So instead of tossing the opponent around, it just slightly nudges them to the side. On top of that, the main blade itself is also more hollow than I like, which is a shame. So yeah, while this bay has a striking and clean design making it perfect to display, gameplay wise it's not very good at all. But before you click off of this video, there's still more CX to go over, because the last but definitely not least is the stadium set. And my, oh my, this is without a doubt the best stadium set so far. I gotta say, TT, you keep making these things better and better each time. I'm running out of room to store these stadiums, man. The set includes 2 ripcord launchers, 2 bases both being recolors of Perseus Dark and Dran Brave, and of course the stadium. While the ripcord launchers themselves aren't very special, it's still nice for them to have a color match with the base themselves, instead of giving us the same black and white ones from the starters. As for the base, I actually kind of prefer these over the original. The icy blue color of Perseus is the perfect matchup for the infernal color of Dran Brave. Not to mention the glitter effect they gave Bumper is something they definitely didn't have to do, but it's something I'm really glad they decided to do. Other than Brave's mediocre performance and Wedge being unusable, these bases would have actually been pretty perfect. But more perfect than that is the stadium. And oh my goodness, it is the best stadium to date. Unlike the other stadiums, this one actually has the X logo printed on it, which already makes this stadium worth getting. But since it's transparent, they were able to print on that logo on the bottom side of the stadium rather than on top of the stadium, meaning it won't be ruined by the base themselves, which is a major W in my opinion. And lastly, the pink rails are a unexpected but very welcome addition to the Extreme Line color scheme, and similar to the box, it's pink instead of red. But I guess in this case it's a bit understandable since the red rails were a part of a rare stadium that was released way before the actual X generation started off. So yeah, it kind of makes sense that they want to keep that as a exclusive or rare color scheme. I'll definitely be using the stadium for the future videos, but I think I'll change the rails for either the green or the orange ones since I like those better. But anyways, that's it. The entirety of the CX line so far. While there are some very noticeable downsides to this line, I'm kind of glad they weren't immediately power creeping the other line, since I'm sure we'll eventually get some competitive viable CX base. I mean, we already have 3 new CX base releasing soon, with another one being confirmed to come out at some point, and the other one being heavily speculated, but almost guaranteed. Anyways, if you made it this far into the video, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this format of videos, since it's definitely way out of my normal style. And of course, this time I also have my avatar and I'm no longer just a voice and hands. If you like this format, please let me know so I can make other videos using this format. But anyways, that's it from me, and until next time, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye bye.